welcome back to Building Business Bridges, as my co-host calls it, B3 of Flagler. So welcome our co-host, and we do have a special guest today, but I'm going to let her introduce him.
Thank you, Shara. Shara is Miss Sifton sort here in our town. I'm Diane Campbell, and I own Boney Booty's Beach Rentals. But I couldn't do any of this without my guest here, my husband of 37 years, Mr. Dan Campbell. Welcome to the house.
Woo-hoo, great to be here.
You didn't know that till just now.
I love it.
No, I love surprises.
Awesome. So, Shara, what are we going to... Oh, first of all, let's toast. This is our new thing, and it's going to be banter and brew or some form of that.
Banter and brew.
Yes, banter
Fueling
and brew.
the bridges.
Building bridges with banter and brew.
I love
We're
it.
all about the alliterations here. But cheers.
Cheers.
What are we talking about today?
Well, let's talk about the coffee first, because
Right.
we are going to buy each other coffee
Yes.
and use it as some kind of platform for ourselves, whether it's a brew, the banter,
Banter and brew.
building, brewing, and bantering.
We'll be
We'll be blubbering bees all over the place. But I
all
think
good.
this is great. So this will be our new platform. If you want to buy us a coffee or buy us
Right.
a drink, we will discuss more about that.
yes.
But today we were bantering, and since we have our unknown guest here today that did not know, I
I
think
got voluntold.
voluntold, which he's very good at doing what he's told. Right, Dan?
I'm not going to argue
Speechless.
that.
He's speechless. So today I just wanted to talk about the challenges of business, since I am a new entrepreneur.
Oh,
This
honey.
January, or actually it's been a year already. And just the challenges in this community of not only starting a business, but owning a business and what comes with it, especially when we start to do networking and figuring out what our skills are and how to use them.
We have been challenged exponentially this week because we have a new venture coming up, and we'll be able to talk about that at another time, another podcast. But it requires going through all the legalities of making that happen. And making that happen usually involves, first and foremost, registering your business with sunbiz.org. Here in Florida, that's where you go to registeryourbusiness.org. So, Dan, give us an overview of what that looks like for you this week, besides pulling your hair out.
It was kind of a self-imposed pulling my hair out, right? Because I didn't follow the correct order. I went to the get a federal employer ID first. That's not the right step. The first step should be go to Sunbiz. Is your name available? Also, in parallel with that is if you're particular about what your internet domain name is going to be, look for that at the same time, right? Get your domain name, get yourself registered on Sunbiz, then you go get your federal EIN.
So we spent a lot of time waiting for different things, and it's kind of a mind bender because you have to look at the domains, right? You have to go to GoDaddy or wherever you go to get a secure domain, and you have to kind of do that first to have an idea of what to register on Sunbiz, right? So we've been doing that, going back and forth, and if the name isn't available or it is available as a domain, you go to Sunbiz and it's not available. So it was kind of back to the drawing board again, and I'll let you explain how that happened this week.
Yeah, and it hasn't happened quite yet.
No, it's still ongoing.
But I talked to our accountant early this afternoon and got straightened out on that to find that proper order. Go to Sunbiz, then get your federal EIN. Then you got to come back to the state and register. If you're going to be paying sales taxes like services, which is what our businesses are. We also have another business selling, physical products. So we have to collect and turn into the state sales taxes. So we have to come back step 3 and get registered with the Florida Department of Revenue, right? Get a number there so we can start filing sales taxes, probably quarterly at first.
I'm glad that you brought this up because it's something I think that's so detailed that most new business and even old and current businesses don't know. And it took me about 3 months. And you said, your domain name and there's certain things. Like I'm just going to throw out a few little tidbits. Is I did not personally know that you cannot use symbols in a domain. And I'm like, but I'm sift and sort. I'm not sift and sort.
Ampersand.
Ampersand.
Sort, yes.
But you cannot
Correct.
use that in an email address and 2 on a domain.
Right.
And of course, I'm confused. I don't know why until I had somebody educate me, and it makes complete sense now. But it is really challenging to come up with a domain name that is easily to access. No double I's,
Memorable.
double L's. Yes, but how do you get your point across? And then, of course, the business name. So I'm not that I'm happy about your challenges, but these are things I think that most people don't think about of the easy accessibility to the website and what your name is going to be, how well this plays in, I think is a huge challenge.
Right. You have to consider if you're going to be a partnership, a limited liability, an LLC, a fictitious name, and all of these things come into play, and understanding the differences of those as they relate to operating legally.
Yes.
If you're going to do things right, and which we do here, we want to do it right the first time. And trust me, we know what it's like to undo the
To
things
spend
you
that
didn't
time.
do right.
Yep.
When I lost my brother with Boney Booties Beach Rentals, we had to back his name off of everything. And there are still some things, loose ends hanging out, like trailer registration, post office boxes, all those things, I'm going to use this word, are a root ball of, it's just a mess. And undoing them is not easy because sometimes the entity that is asking you to undo it doesn't even know how to tell you to undo it.
That brings me to my
They
next
don't know.
point is why we're doing this is to help businesses and figure out how the challenges that come with it. Where does someone go in Flagler County to get these details? I know they have SCORE, which
That might
don't
be a good
quote
place
me
to
with
start.
the acronym because I have no idea what it is. But you look that up.
Small,
Thank you.
something.
SCORE, SCORE, which helps guide you and has mentors that are business owners to help guide you. But it is challenging. And, does the city have anything locally to help guide you to the steps? Because one thing I did, and I'm just going to throw this out there, is when I first was playing with names, I was getting all this mail from, it looked like, legitimate government
Of course.
entities to pay for an EIN number. I think they wanted $136, which you think, not bad.
Wow.
But not
No,
knowing.
the stamps, and we have gotten those,
Yes,
Dan.
they will keep just coming in the mail.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And they look so legitimate
Right.
and legal that it's nerve wracking. And so I did have to, thank God I had some people I was able to ask. And like, no, an EIN number is free.
Yeah. So, and that is easily attainable if you know how to get it.
That's the problem.
So those are scammers,
Absolutely.
and they know that you don't know jack about how to do this because you're just getting started, right?
Yes.
And so a newbie entrepreneur, you have to go through those steps if you're going to operate legally. Every place wants to, especially taxes, they want their money, and they're going to get it. So it pays to do things right the first time.
But I think the problem is finding those resources to do it right the first time and trusting those resources, whoever
Right.
that may be, to help guide, what are the proper legal steps.
Yeah.
I mean, even the city, right? You have a city tax receipt, a county tax receipt.
State.
I mean, that's a whole nother topic,
Yeah.
just saying.
Yes.
But these are the things that need to be obtained for a legal business in Flagler County. And I don't think 90% of the businesses know that. And I might be going high, but
I would venture a guess that a lot of businesses aren't legally registered.
I agree.
And that's kind of a scary thought. And we talked about this in the contracting world, how contractors are out there working. And I'm sure that it's not just limited to contractors, but if you're going to be rewiring something in your house, then it becomes a serious issue.
Absolutely.
So,
The
what else? What other fun things have we done this week, Dan? Phones. Transferring a phone.
Yeah. So on my phone, I have an eSIM, and this particular phone allows you to have 2 separate eSIMs, so you can have 2 different numbers coming to that phone, right? And so we've acquired a business that I think that, have you talked about details?
No.
Okay, I won't either.
That's the next episode.
But next episode maybe. But we're getting this business, and we're also acquiring their mobile phone number. So we had to get that transferred over to my phone, which
You would think would be easy. No.
Yeah, you would think that.
No.
It's a transfer.
No.
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 No. Went to our one of our local phone stores, and gosh, we walked in and he said all our iPads rebooted when I came in this morning. So they were dead in the water. We went to a different branch of that company's stores, and we're able to get the phone hooked up, and it seemed to be working. Yesterday afternoon, I went to make a call, and both of my lines were dead. So I spent a couple hours with
so much fun.
chatting with their support, which they talked me through getting everything reset and working again. But yeah, just it's all these little nitpicky details that can just
They mess with your head.
they mess with your head.
They do.
And
You question, like, why am I doing this? Should I be doing this? Even though you have a passion to do it.
The other thing is, I feel like an idiot that I can't get this done in this certain amount of time. You should be able to get this done. But again, some of the folks who are working in phone supply stores, whatever the name you want to put there, they don't know.
They have
said,
no
you'll have to
idea.
forgive me because I'm kind of new here. And we were like, really?
Like, is there anybody who's not new?
We're in a phone store and you can't get on your phone in the phone store.
And they don't know why.
They don't know why.
That's the most frustrating part. Is there's no answers to it.
I guess it's just, sometimes it's just amazing the system works at all, right?
Exactly, yeah. And you feel like you're putting Band-Aids on Band-Aids to fix things. And we know this from your programming days. They're just Band-Aids on Band-Aids. But it's kind of frustrating. And I think if the takeaway from this is you have to have patience in dealing with these things because they take time. There are kind of security measures in place so you can't do it easy, right? You don't want someone to come in and just take your name, take your phone number, and, steal all that. So we're trying to protect the phone number so the previous clients can call us and not have to go through a whole transition in their mind. But we're like the duck floating nicely on the top of the water, but we're pedaling like crazy underneath, trying to get it all done
That's a good analogy.
by January 1st.
And I'm sure the same on the other end for that other company.
Yeah.
Just as frustrating when they're just trying
Right.
to move on and
Offload.
yes.
He wants to offload it quickly before he doesn't want taxes to occur, taxes in 2026. So offloading it by the end of the year end is important to him. And that hasn't come easy either.
No, because here we are.
Here we are, and we still haven't had it done, so.
But sometimes I feel like some of those, I don't want to call them barriers, are such a learning lesson of whatever the lesson may be.
Iron sharpens iron, right?
It does. It's the only thing that
And
sharpens iron is
I
iron,
think we
right?
can all agree that entrepreneurship is not for sissies.
No.
It's not for the faint of heart. It's not always fun. It's not, if you ever read E-Myth by Michael Gerber, he uses this analogy of a pie shop. It's never about making the pie. It's always about selling the pie, marketing the pie, getting the ingredients for the pie, crunching the numbers on the pie. How do you find a space to sell the pie? It's always that. And then you get to make the pie.
And I do think it's, business owners, whether sissies or not, it is, you need to be an expert at every little thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really rely on other people because then, unfortunately, disappointment comes. And then you thought you saved some time or some money, but meanwhile, you just realize that it's costing you more time and more money. But not everybody has those skills to be able to do every aspect of starting a business, running a business properly. Again, do you spend your money on marketing? Do you spend your money on advertising? All these questions is questionable for somebody who doesn't have the ability or skills to do it on your own properly.
Right.
Or it doesn't look like you're doing it
Even the
alone.
guy at the phone store, the second phone store, said to us, I can see you've done this before because you have all these things in place before you get here. Mm-hmm. We didn't know that until our last experience when we had to transfer all those things, and it was a pain in the keister.
And I feel you're also educating others by having these unfortunate mishaps, but it's all part of the
journey.
It is.
And it's not an easy journey, but
no.
I took that to heart, just as you guys have been through this before, I can tell, because you have the information we need. So that was, even though we wasted a lot of time getting to that point, it still streamlined the operation when we were there.
Otherwise, you would have been there for another
with
4
a knowledgeable
hours.
agent who could get us to where we wanted to go.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And we need a nap after that.
Yes.
Or a drink.
Yes.
One or the other.
Well, we might have that also, and some coffee with Bailey's. I don't know. Yeah.
So, the moral of the story is go into a small business knowing that you're going to have to encounter some painful, things, not only white collar or back office stuff, but you're going to encounter front office stuff or boots on the ground stuff as well.
No, it's also managing your time. Not so much even managing all the admin work that comes with a business, but time, which seems to be my issue that I'm trying to...
Let's talk more about managing time. How do you do that?
I don't. And maybe I need a time management specialist. And I don't even know if there's anybody out there that's not necessarily a business coach, but time management, because I just do as much as I can within the day without a plan. And it becomes overwhelming. And some of the things that I have goals to do with that time, I feel like I push to the side because something the next day always happens where you feel like, okay,
fire burning always.
I got to go to this thing. I got to do this and I have to do that. And you keep pushing it to the side and time is just not on our side, as they say. A year goes by, 2 years go by, and you're unfortunately almost where you started, which is frustrating and then questionable. But that's, I think, my main challenge is finding the time that I want to network in a different way. Not with networking groups necessarily, but figuring out other ways to meet people and let them know who I am, what I do, and why I do it.
Would you agree that any event is an opportunity to network?
1,000%.
Right.
Absolutely. Even you get frustrated, upset, I got to go. There's always a little something. And even if it's the most minor thing, I try to look at it from the outside point of view and feel like, all this and all this money or buying a ticket to go to an event, there's always that 1 second of opportunity that you would have never had by not being there. So that's where I kind of struggle with balancing time. Where do I place it? Where do I go? How much money do I spend on it? So
it's all marketing dollars.
It is.
Right.
It is. But it is a challenge. And I think that's the hardest thing is how do you overcome?
You don't, when we network or out there networking, you're not going to canvass the room with business cards. I've seen this happen.
Correct.
You come in with a bunch of business cards and you pass them out like candy, right? So that's not the way to gain favor.
Not at all.
With me, anyway.
No.
Because I can see through all that.
Well, I think it's a little bit of a disrespect also when you're just throwing out business cards to people.
And they kind of expect that you're going to call them, really? And you're not investing time into getting to know me?
It's very true.
About relationships.
Yes, which was another topic of discussion is building those relationships. because I wanted to just bring up in the networking world that I've experienced is, are people really listening to your pitch? Some are, just like everybody. You go into a room, there's some great, there's some bad. There's always a mix of everything in a situation. But I feel like so many people, and I could see them concentrating so much on what they are going to pitch, or after they pitch, how did that pitch go in their own mind, versus there's 50 other pitches happening and you're not even listening to them because you're still worried about what you're going to say or how it came across.
You're right. You know what I found, even being in this studio, we have gotten some really good conversations happening after we turn the mics off.
Correct.
So listening is a key portion of proper networking. And I really believe that there's going to be some business as a result of
Absolutely.
when the mics came off. But it's because we're kind of forced to listen. I don't know how you break that that trance that people get in to stop what they're doing to listen to what you're going to say or I'm going to say.
I think it's a lot of pressure, especially in your 30, if you're lucky, 40 seconds of fame.
Right.
What do you say? How do you come across? Are you going to be memorable? I think that these are all challenges when it comes to the structure of a networking group. But like you said, in this studio, and I haven't known a lot of these people for very long. You've known a little bit more in depth about their personal lives, but it has been blowing my mind because you never know what someone has seen, done, learned, whatever it is. You know, you could have this surface on the outside, but there's so much experience that these people have been through. I mean, like when we had Sam on.
Right.
This girl blew my mind. I've known her for years, never really
Yeah.
had to sit down with her, but because we were able to in this studio, to know why she does what she does and how beyond what she does is
Right.
so in depth.
It goes deep.
It goes
And I
deep.
think we owe that to ourselves and to the person that is sitting beside us that we're talking with to get to know them a little deeper. I had an idea once for a podcast that was called My Layer Cake because I wanted to get down past the icing to the ingredients of what makes that person, what does that cake look like? You know, what kind of ingredients are in there? Where have they come from? What is their experience? And, you know, we sell ourselves short when we don't open up that conversation and make that connection because the connections are building the bridges.
I agree. And I think it's hard maybe unless we ourselves have this studio to dive in like this, because it's not something that becomes topic of conversation of what got you to where you are.
Right.
Most people don't have enough time to dive into that.
Yeah.
And I think we forget what got us here, all the things and the experience we've had and what we've learned because we're in the now. We're not,
Yeah.
writing a diary of all the things that happened. I mean, we probably should, but that won't happen.
Wonder if we did an experiment and checked our phones at the door.
Oh,
How would that make people feel? I mean, I know I'm addicted to the phone.
We all
I
are.
try not to look at it in the networking group so I can focus on listening to the person. But we also, I think there needs to be a little bit of training in teaching people how to present their business in a proper way. It's like, how am I going to sell for you? Or how am I going to refer you to other people? Not just let them know that you have 3 fluffy cats and you like to travel. It's important, but we see this a lot, and that's fine. We want to get to know who you are. That might be better saved for a coffee meeting, one-on-one,
Absolutely.
like this, or join us on the podcast.
yes.
We'll dig a little deeper.
But I think that's the thing is really when it comes to networking, you don't really know who these people are.
No. And I want to know. I want to know,
Yes.
like, and trust who these people are so I can refer them better or not.
Correct. And you don't really get to, know somebody until you know them. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But I think that's the most challenging part for me is a one-on-one for me, easy an hour. Easy. I mean, I can go on and on. I think Laura and I had one, it was almost 2.5 hours, just because it's not just about business, it's about personal life and getting to know each other differently, which you never have the opportunity to. And there's just not enough time in the day.
Right.
It's a journey that we will continue to
Explore.
absolutely. And I think it's wonderful what we're doing. And I'm loving exposing these businesses a little bit more and getting people to know them on a different level.
Yeah, that is the key, is to just to peel back the layers and get to know these people so you can refer them in a knowledgeable, educated way. And not only that, but, oh, by the way, their kid's in baseball, or this kid, they like wine. That is also a bridge. If you're
Yes.
bridging over into something that is a hobby for them, you're going to immediately strike a chord and reach a deeper level just by knowing that.
Absolutely. And I think that it's so important, really, to build relationships.
Yeah.
Just like building a bridge, one little plank at a time gets you from one side to the other.
Yeah.
And it's, even with networking, I try the night before to prepare so that I can listen. And I think that's the thing, is people don't really know how to prepare because they don't really know how to market their business.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to be creative and just, put little triggers into people's mind. But I definitely always think about what I'm going to talk about the night before. And that's just a little advice maybe to some people, so they don't have to think about their pitch
Yeah.
rather than what they're pitching. And I think there's a big difference there. And people
I do
that.
not like salesy people.
No.
I like to buy things, but I don't want to be sold to.
It should sell itself.
Right.
Or we sell ourselves. And I think that's the whole thing. And whatever you're selling, people will buy. It doesn't even
Right.
matter what you're selling because they've already bought you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what I've experienced also, just living in Palm Coast for over 30 years. You could be selling anything. If they like you, they like you. And
Yeah.
whatever you got to sell, they're going to buy because they trust you
Right.
and you're consistent. So,
Well, my husband,
oh,
you need to talk some more. You didn't know he's going to be on this thing. We're about to wrap this up. If our audience has an issue, a topic, a concern they want to talk about regarding business building and networking, shoot us an email,
Please.
or reach us out on Facebook. We'd love to talk about it and bring it out on the table here and hash it out.
absolutely.
All right.
Okay, here goes
It's
another
a wrap.
one. That's a wrap.
Thank you, our listening audience, for being here. We'll see you next time on B3.